in the heart of Lagos, where the rich drive bulletproof jeeps and the poor hustle under the sun. There lived a man who had it all, Alexander Okechukwu, a 35-year-old billionaire tech genius, owner of OKE Technologies, the biggest tech company in West Africa. From Banana Island to Abuja, his name opened doors. But for all his power, fame, and endless money, Alexander was empty inside. Every woman he dated wanted his money. Every friend bowed before his wealth. And at night, he sat alone in his 12-room mansion, wondering if anyone would love him for the man, not the money. One evening, after hosting another fake charity gala full of plastic smiles and Instagram influencers, Alexander took a long look in the mirror. "I don't even know who I am anymore," he said. His friend and driver Kunle tried to make him laugh. "Oga, na money dey worry you. If na me dey suffer this kind wahala, I go dey thank God every second." But Alexander wasn't joking. "I'm leaving this life, Kunle. I want to disappear. I want to be poor, just for a while. Let me see if love still exists without the flashing cameras." Kunle looked confused. "Poor how? Na joke abi na wine they talk for your mouth? Get me clothes that smell like they came from Oshodi Bend Down Market. Let's see if Lagos can give me something money can't buy." A few days later, Alexander Okechukwu became Chucks. He wore torn slippers, dirty jeans, and a faded Arsenal jersey with holes. His beard was overgrown. His once shiny hair became rough. He rented a Face Me, I Face You room in Mushin, where no one would recognize him. Gone were the G-Wagon and private jet. Now, he used Danfo and trekked under the hot Lagos sun like everyone else. He told people he was a struggling electrician, looking for work. No phone, no Instagram, just Chucks, broke and barely surviving. One Tuesday hot afternoon, he saw a girl named Amara Okon, a 28-year-old nurse working night shifts at Luth. She had just finished her shift and was buying akara and pap from Mama Ngozi. Alexander, or rather Chucks, was sitting on the pavement nearby, eating his 100 naira beans and bread. Their eyes met. She smiled first. "You look like someone who hasn't slept in 3 days." He chuckled. "Try 10. Poverty no dey allow person rest." She laughed genuinely. "I'm Chucks," he said, pretending to scratch his head. "Just moved here, looking for small electrician jobs." "Amara, I'm a nurse. You're lucky. I've seen patients who look better than you," she teased, wiping sweat from her forehead. He laughed again. For the first time in years, the laugh felt real. Over the next few days, they kept running into each other. At the buka, at the bus stop, at the corner shop. Amara would often buy him pure water. Sometimes she even shared her food. She didn't care about his rags. She didn't ask about his past. She only saw a man with kind eyes and quiet sadness. And Alexander, for the first time, didn't feel like a billionaire pretending. He felt human again. One hot afternoon, Amara found Chuck sitting under a mango tree, fanning himself with an old newspaper. "You look like that tree owes you rent," she joked. He smiled. "The tree is my landlord. At least it doesn't collect service charge." She brought out a bottle of cold water and a plastic bag. "Here, soaked Gary and groundnut. It's not jollof rice, but it's better than air." He looked at her. A woman with tired eyes, worn-out slippers, and the most generous heart he'd ever met. "Why are you always kind to me?" he asked softly. She paused. "Because being broke isn't the same as being worthless." They started spending more time together. After her hospital shifts, Amara would pass by the roadside, where Chucks usually sat. Sometimes they'd talk for minutes. Other times they'd talk until nightfall. She told him about her father who died when she was 13, her mother who sells fruits at the market, her younger brother who still couldn't pay school fees. "Life hasn't been fair," she said once, "but at least it hasn't killed me." He told her about his fake past, how he used to work in Port Harcourt but lost everything to a fire. "Now I dey hustle small, he said, forcing a grin. Amara touched his arm. "One day you'll rise again. I feel it." One day, while walking her home, A young man named Dio blocked their path. "Amara, is this the Chucks I've been hearing about?" he asked, eyeing Alexander from head to toe. "Yes. Any problem?" she said flatly. "You mean you, a nurse, are walking around Mushin with a beggar who can't even afford slippers without holes?" Chuck stayed silent, his heart beating like a drum. Amara's eyes flashed. "I'd rather be with a man in rags who respects me than a man in Gucci who doesn't." Dio scoffed and walked off, defeated. Alexander stood there stunned. No woman had ever defended him like that, not even when he was worth billions. That night, Amara and Chuck sat outside her compound, watching the moon. "Why don't you date someone like Dio? He has a car, a real job. Because cars don't hug you when you cry, and jobs don't tell you the truth when it hurts." She turned to him. "There's something in your eyes, Chucks. You've seen pain. You've lived through something deep. I can feel it." His throat tightened. He wanted to confess it all, but something held him back. Fear, doubt. So instead he said, "I'm just a man trying to start over." Amara's birthday was coming. She never said anything, but one of her friends at the hospital slipped and mentioned it. Chucks wanted to surprise her, so he quietly reached out to Kunle, his driver and most trusted friend, who had been keeping tabs on his undercover life. "Just one thing," Chuck said. "Find me a way to send her a birthday cake. Nothing fancy, something sweet and believable." Kunle laughed. "Oga, you be billionaire way they find discount cake. Na love done humble you like this?" "Kunle, abeg," he said. "Keep it low. If she finds out who I am now, I might lose her." On her birthday, Amara came back from work to find a small, beautiful cake waiting at her door. The note on it read, "To the kindest soul I know, may your smile never fade. Chucks." She stared at the cake for a long moment, touched, but confused. "Where did you get money for this?" she asked later that evening. "I've been saving small from odd jobs," he lied, rubbing the back of his neck. She smiled. "You didn't have to, but thank you. It's the best gift I've ever received." He wanted to say, "That cake came from a bakery in Lekki I secretly own." But he said nothing, just sat beside her, heart swelling, and guilt quietly eating at him. That week, everything changed. They shared more walks, more laughter. She started calling him my mad electrician. He started calling her Nurse Trouble. They talked about the future, hers full of dreams, his full of lies. One day, under the tree they always sat, she leaned her head gently on his shoulder. "Chucks," she whispered, "I don't know why, but when I'm with you, I feel safe." He didn't move, didn't breathe, because in that moment, he wanted time to stop. He wanted to stay poor forever, just to keep that feeling. A few days later, it rained heavily. Amara's umbrella flipped in the wind, and she arrived soaked at the shop where Chucks waited. He pulled off his only jacket, torn, worn, but dry, and wrapped it around her. "You'll get cold," she said. "You're more important," he replied. She looked into his eyes, silent. And then, gently, shyly, she kissed him. It was brief, but it shook something in him that hadn't moved in years. She pulled away quickly. "I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that." He held her hand. "I do," he whispered. But not everyone was happy. Dio, the angry Boda man who had tried to shame Chucks weeks earlier, had been watching them. He had connections, friends in higher places. And that week, one of them sent him a shocking video, a video of Alexander Okechukwu stepping out of a luxury car at a business summit in Abuja, clean-shaven, in a suit, surrounded by bodyguards. Wait. Na be this same guy way they wear bathroom slippers for mushin' be this," Dio muttered. He downloaded the photo and smiled wickedly. "It be like say Nurse Amara. They love Billionaire way. They lie say no get shishi. Let's see what happens when the truth drops." Ha ha ha. Hey say the truth has a way of coming out, no matter how long it hides in shadows. For Alexander Okechukwu, still wearing the rags of Chucks, the lie he thought he controlled, was about to blow up in his face. It was a Sunday evening. Amara was washing clothes in the compound when Dio walked in, phone in hand, smiling like a man with power. "Amara," he called out. She looked up, irritated. "What is it now?" He flashed his phone screen. "This your Chuck's? You sure say him no be spirit?" "What are you talking about?" she asked. "Because the same man way they follow you up and down for mushin', they chop Billionaire's rice for Abuja." He tapped his phone and showed her the video. There, crystal clear, was Alexander. No beard, clean cut, stepping out of a G-Wagon, shaking hands with the Minister of Technology. Amara stared. Her mouth slowly opened, but no words came out. "You dey love a man way lie say him no get shishi. Meanwhile, he fit by the whole of Lagos." Dio laughed. The ground beneath Amara felt like it was moving. Her heart pounded. The man she had shared soaked Gary with, the man she had kissed, was a billionaire in disguise? Amara waited. That evening, as the sun began to set, Chuck's swear to you, what I feel for you is real. If it was real, you would have told me the truth from the start. Silence. Then, she said the words that shattered him. "Please leave, and don't come back." That night, Alexander sat in his real apartment, the one with AC, smart TVs, and untouched luxury, but it felt like a prison. He looked at his reflection, clean, rich, handsome, and hated it. Meanwhile, Amara curled into her bed, hugging her pillow. Tears streamed down her cheeks. "He lied to me, and I still miss him," she whispered. Within days, the story spread across the neighborhood. "You never hear? That Chuck's guy be billionaire, oh. Amara chop billionaire beans and she no know. She get mind. Tell billionaire to carry him G-Wagon and go." People laughed, but Amara didn't. Neither did Alexander. For both of them, laughter had disappeared. 2 weeks had passed. Amara had gone back to her routine. Work, home, sleep, pretend, repeat. But the laughter she once carried like a badge had disappeared. Then, one morning, a black SUV stopped right in front of the hospital. The doors opened. Alexander stepped out. No disguise, no rags, gray native attire, polished shoes, clean shave, but the same gentle eyes. Nurses stopped talking. Security turned. Even patients looked up. Amara froze. "What is he doing here?" her colleague whispered. He walked straight to her, no hesitation, holding a simple white box in his hands. "I'm not here as a billionaire," he said, loud enough for all to hear. "I'm here as the man who fell in love with you while sharing Gary under a mango tree." Amara's hands trembled. Her chest tightened. "You lied to me, Alexander," she said, her voice breaking. "Yes," he replied, "but I never lied about how I felt." That evening, they sat in the same spot where she had once kissed him. The tree, the street, the same wind. Alexander held the white box and opened it slowly. Inside was the same cheap plastic cup they used to soak Gary. Cleaned, preserved. "I kept this," he said, smiling sadly, "because it was the first time I felt truly seen." She looked at it. Tears filled her eyes. "I wasn't angry because you were rich," she said. "I was angry because you didn't trust me enough to tell me. I was scared. he confessed. Everyone always wants something from me. Money, status, business deals. But you gave me everything without knowing who I was. That's rare, Amara. That's gold. She looked down, silent. If you never forgive me, I'll understand, he continued. But I needed to try, even if it's just to say thank you for showing me what love without money looks like.
Amara stood up, looked at him. I don't care about your cars, or your mansions, or your bank accounts, she said. I cared about Chuck's, the one who held my hand when I was scared, the one who laughed at my dry jokes, the one who gave me his only jacket in the rain. She stepped closer. If that man is still in there, then maybe I can forgive you. Alexander's face lit up. He's here, and he's never leaving again. She reached for his hand. The same hand that once begged for jobs now held hers with humility. Under the fading sunset, they hugged, not as billionaire and nurse, but as two people who had finally found their way back to each other. 1 year later, wedding bells echoed from a small church in Surulere. Amara, in a simple white gown. Alexander, in his best agbada. Half of Lagos showed up, from Mushin to Lekki. Kunle gave the toast. Ladies and gentlemen, this love story started with soaked Gary and slippers with holes. If that isn't true love, I don't know what is. Everyone laughed, even Dio. And in the middle of the dance floor, Alexander whispered into Amara's ear, "Next anniversary, I'm soaking Gary for you again." She smiled. "Only if you wash the plates this time."